Hold that down. Welcome to Box Center.
No, no quiero, papá.
No quiere que. Tráemela la tabla, ven. Tráemela. So, y'all already know what it is, man. JSmiff in the flesh. And this is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Hold on, my son wanna watch a different cartoon. So, what you wanna see? What cartoon you wanna see?
Lippy.
Do you wanna see Grinch?
Lippy que te llama.
Leapy. Leapy cartoons. Cartoons? I don't know which cartoons are those. Let me see. That one? Bleepy?
Sí, Lippy.
Anda, voy a llevarlo para la cama. Put it in the bed and lay down, okay? There you have it, my peoples. You already know what it is. Happy Saturday. And yesterday, the Box Center, the show, episode 1 came out. You know, we was live, man, talking about what the fans want to see. Ryan, you have to put that in the bed. Go put it in the bed. Put it in the bed, Ryan. You have to put it. You have to put it in the bed. So yeah, man, the episode debuted. Hold on one second. I'll be back. Oh, here we have it, my peoples. What's the deal, man? Yo, yesterday, episode 1 of Box Center, the show, dropped. And you know we was talking boxing. You know what it is. Uh, for real, though, man. You know, we was talking about Canelo Alvarez. And, you know, should he fight Terrence Crawford? What's going to happen if that fight actually takes place? We was talking about Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis. What's going to happen if that fight take place? So the thing about the live is that for, for Box Center, episode 1, the show, you got to see the new segment, Goofiest of the Oofiest. And it's a segment where I just point out someone or a group of people who done some goofy stuff. You already know what it is, my peoples. Yo, don't forget to hit that like button, man. Don't be cheap about that like button. Box Center, yo, I'm trying to tell you, I am your plug. If you love boxing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I promise you, you're going to love the content. Yesterday, the first episode dropped. Check it out. You're going to see the 3 segments that aired. Goofiest of the Oofiest. What the people want to see. And the last segment on the show, take that to the bank to go get some pounds. Where Jay Stradamus makes predictions for you. Tells you what's going to happen in future fights. I appreciate it, man. Clifton McNeil, I appreciate you subscribing, my brother. And, I get told I look like Swiss Beat a lot. Trust me. When I was younger and I had the long hair, I had the braids, they used to tell me I look like Snoop. And I used to look like Ludacris. And now I look like Swiss Beats. That's crazy, but it is what it is. But check it, my peoples. We gonna be live every day from Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Arroz con coco, eso baja durísimo. ¿Qué es lo que tú dices? Yo, 9 p.m. Eastern time, live. Yo, check me out, and you're going to see all new segments, original content. That you're going to enjoy. You gotta check out Goofiest of the Oofiest, yo. It's for real. And you get to highlight a lot of people that are doing some goofy stuff within the boxing community. Sí, un arrocito con yuca cae bien. So there's some fights tonight, I think, on the zone, but it's none of the big names are fighting. None of the big stars are fighting tonight. But there are some fights that are taking place. I saw Eddie Hearn posted. I think, that there is a card tonight. So I'll be looking into that. And by the way, later on today, I am going to be going live again. So if there, the fights that there will be taking place today, I'll be talking about them. So yo, if you're watching this live right now, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, who do you have if that fight happens? I wanna know, cause I'm gonna tell you something. That fight is gonna end up happening. I promise you. Tank and Shakur will end up getting into the ring together. That you could take that to the bank to get some pounds. My peoples, come on now. Don't play with that like button, man. Go like that. Pop, hit that like button, man. And yo, don't forget to subscribe, because you're gonna see all new segments only here on Box Center. Goofiest of the oofiest. Once you see it, you're gonna see what it's about. Then we got what the people want to know, what the people want to see. So I'm talking about the fights that we, the fans, want to see. Bruno Enrique, what's up, my brother? Appreciate you hopping on. So I'm talking about the fights that the people want to see. And then all new segment, take that to the bank to go get some pounds. When it comes to that segment, yo, aka Jay Stradamus, I'm giving you the predictions. I'm telling you who's gonna win when you're not expecting them to win. Shakur not on Tank level. All right, that's your opinion. That Shakur not on Tank level. Now, if you can elaborate, why do you feel that Shakur is not on Tank's level? What in their resume or their style of boxing tells you that? Because when we look at their fights, Tank has lost more rounds than Shakur versus his opponents. Shakur is pretty much the best defensive fighter in the game and the most unhittable fighter in the game. And Tank gets hit. He loses rounds. So why do you feel like Shakur is not on Tank's level? I'm interested, in why. Because a lot of times I think people don't like a fighter and automatically it's like they want to downgrade them from what they actually are. Like, yo, Shakur is one of the best fighters today, and Tank is one of the best fighters today. The only thing I say is that, yo, for you to uplift Tank, you don't have to down Shakur, my guy. And I see that a lot in boxing where, oh, this guy's great, so this guy's a bum. Or this guy's a hype job. Or this guy's not as good as people say he. So we have to realize that, yo, Shakur Stevenson is one of the best fighters today in boxing. So how, well, as far as power goes, then you could say that from the beginning, Tank has more power. Okay, I'll take that. But power and levels are two different things, my guy. They don't go together. Because if it was like that, Canelo should have beat Floyd Mayweather. But he did not. Canelo should have beat Bivol. But he did not. He got more power than them. So the notion that because he got more power, that's it, he's levels above, that's false. Boxing is not only about power. Look, Tank Davis did not knock Pitbull Cruz out. And what happened? He had to win the fight on the cards. So what happens if he can't knock Shakur out? And it goes to the cards. It's not going to be about the power. It's going to be about the skills and the style and everything else. He could. I mean, he could rematch De Los Santos, but the outcome will be the same. Look, De Los Santos is not gonna beat him. It's just that simple. So a rematch, to be honest, doesn't even make sense because De Los Santos is not that big of a star. A rematch is the type of fight for his haters to just be like, look, he's fighting again a nobody, and it was boring and blah blah blah. So a rematch, to be honest, doesn't really make sense. Shakur Stevenson needs to do his very best to get the big boys in the ring with him. Shakur Stevenson need guys like Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Tank Davis, Lomachenko, Devin Haney. Those are the names that he needs in the ring with him. Canelo wasn't a KO artist like Tank. Well, if Tank was fighting better opposition, maybe he wouldn't be KOing everybody. And you have to look at Canelo has a high knockout percentage for the amount of fights that he has. So it's not like he don't knock people out, or like he don't stop people. But again, when it comes to Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, who do you have? So far, I've heard the people that have spoken about it have said that they got Tank winning that fight. For different reasons. But look, I understand what you're saying, George, Polito. I get what you're saying about the Shakur running around and the people paying for it and all that stuff. But nothing that you said, my guy, pay-per-view numbers and all that stuff, that has nothing to do with the skills. That has nothing to do with what's actually going to happen inside the ring. So at that point, it's all about opinion. Because notice what you're doing. You're talking for other people. You're saying people are not trying to spend their money. Well, I'm trying to spend my money. I'm trying to watch it. I know a lot of people that are trying to spend their money. I know a lot of people that are trying to watch it. So you don't realize that what you do is that you spread the narrative because it's just me and you going back and forth, right? So in reality, what you should be saying is that you don't want to spend your money. And you're not trying to see that pay-per-view. But you don't do that. You bunch other people into your opinion. And you start saying, well, people don't want this and people don't want that. But in reality, my brother, you can't be speaking for people. You got to speak for yourself. The same as me. I know a lot of people that want to see Shakur versus Tank. I know a lot of people that love watching Shakur's fights. But I don't tell you, yo, people love Shakur's fights. People love this. No, I talk about myself. I tell you, my opinion. What I can tell you is that Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis is going to be one of the biggest fights in boxing when it happens. And if you look at the numbers, you're going to see that Shakur is a lot more popular than people want to admit. See, we live in this social media era where people think only pay-per-view numbers will tell you who's popular. So he's not on pay-per-view, he's not popular. But let's look at the numbers of the people who are actually watching. Shakur Stevenson's last fight was the most watched on ESPN this year. You know how many fighters have been on ESPN in 2024? You know how many names, how many stars, how many cards have been on ESPN this year? And Shakur Stevenson is the most watched. So Shakur is the most watched fighter on the most popular sports network in the world, which is ESPN. So that right there, my people, tell you a little bit about his popularity. So it's a big mistake to say, oh, he's not on pay-per-view. He's not on pay-per-view. Like, this is that new social media fan base mentality. But he's a very, very popular fighter. And when him and Tank Davis fights, it's gonna be a super fight. So if it's gonna be a super fight, what is really the point of bringing up? Oh well, the pay per view numbers and this and that. He hasn't really done it like that. Like that's irrelevant. You don't see it, George, but in reality, it's irrelevant because when he fight Tank, it's gonna be a huge fight. It doesn't matter that he hasn't been on pay per view. It doesn't matter that he hasn't, all that stuff that you're saying. At the end of the day, Shakur Stevenson is one of the most popular fighters in boxing. So when him and Tank Davis get in the ring, all that stuff is not even gonna matter about he didn't fight there. And look, let me tell you something, my brother. You talking about the resume, right? And you bring up he only has Oscar Valdez. So when you say he only has Oscar Valdez, you automatically discredit Oscar Conceição, a guy that's an Olympian gold medalist, a guy who recently became a champion. Oscar Conceição is a real legit elite level fighter. Shakur beat him, but you discredit him. You don't realize that when you say, oh, he only beat this guy, you discredit all of the other opponents that he beat. Discredit them when none of those guys are bums. Shakur's not fighting bums, but you have to discredit them. Like, why is it that in boxing we do that so much? As soon as we don't like a fighter, we start trying to discredit their opponents. But you don't do that with your own fighter that you support. If you tell me right now this is my favorite fighter, I guarantee you I could do the same thing about opponents that he faced. But you don't keep that same energy, my brother. You see? Why he don't get the fight he wants? Because everybody ducking him. You know that. Everybody's ducking Shakur. He sent Lomachenko an offer. Lomachenko refused it. They talked to Pitbull. Pitbull team right away was like, nah. You see, the problem is that fans, the fans, and I'm going to say me, allow a narrative to get sold to us. You see how you sit here and you say, no, Shakur's boring. You spread that narrative, right? So because you spread that narrative, fighters are able to duck him. Look what Rolly will say. Well, I will fight Shakur, but he's too boring. I'm not going to fight him. Now, because y'all spread that boring narrative, fighters got an excuse to duck him. Pitbull says that he's boring. Rolly says that he's boring. Ryan says it too. So all these guys who don't want to fight him, now they can follow that same narrative that y'all be spreading for them. And Ryan Fraser, you 100% correct. Legacy stays forever. Ain't nobody remembering no pay-per-view numbers. Pay-per-view numbers are for the new social media fans. Matter of fact, pay-per-view... Listen. The pay-per-view argument in social media started with the PBC telling people that they're making more money, that they're the A side, that they're the ones putting butts in seats. And that's when that argument started in social media. 9 times out of 10, when somebody brings up pay-per-view numbers and butts in seats, 9 times out of 10, it's a PBC fan. It's somebody who mostly supports PBC fighters. Because nobody really arguing. Like, as a boxing fan, I don't give a damn about who's making how much money. I care about what's going to happen inside the ring. That's what I want to, that's what I want to see happen. Now, you say he's never going to get a Tank fight. You tripping, my boy. Tank already said publicly he's on the list. That fight is 100% without a doubt going to happen. I'm telling you. But it's going to end up happening like with Crawford and Spence. What happened with Crawford and Spence? Oh, y'all was saying Spence was too big. Spence was going to stop him. Spence was going to break him down to the body. Crawford is too little. Crawford's not going to handle the pressure. And look what happened. How did that play out? So Spence left Terence Crawford for very, very last. And what happened when he finally went to him? I know what happened. So now Tank Davis is doing the same thing. He leaving Shakur for dead last. We're gonna fight everybody and anybody. And then for last, oh yeah, come on now. And Shakur's gonna disappoint all of y'all. Y'all gonna be hurt. Because you don't want Shakur to win that fight. You want him to lose. You want him to lose badly. So Shakur is already starting to look like Floyd Mayweather, where people want him to lose. Yo, his own opponent in his last fight told him, yo, people want you to lose. And he was like, I know. You'll see. Shakur versus Tank is a fight that we're going to get. Without a shred of doubt. I'm 100% sure of it. Now, when are we going to get it? That's the magic question. Of course, we want to get that fight sooner rather than later. Tank Davis about to be 30 years old. Tank Davis is about to be 30 years old. So we need to get that fight sooner rather than later. Let's see how it plays out. He might get Valenzuela. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not telling you that we're going to get Shakur versus Tank next. That fight is definitely not going to happen next. We already know Shakur is going to fight Joe Cordina. Tank is trying to fight Rayo Valenzuela. And that's a good fight. You know, if he fight Rayo, it's going to be at the 140 division. That's a good fight. I like it. You know, Rayo Valenzuela is a fighter who a lot of people underestimated. Why? Because he he lost. That's the problem with new social media boxing fans. As soon as a fighter loses, they get discredited. What happened when Rayo got stopped by Colbert? Oh, he a hype job. He got exposed. He's a bum. And look now. He was the underdog. A lot of people was predicting that Pitbull was going to beat him. That Pitbull was going to knock him out. And look what he did. And that's why I love the internet, man. The internet keeps receipts. If you go back, I told ya. It's on video, my peoples. I said, El Rayo Valenzuela has the skills to outbox Pitbull. If it goes the distance, he gonna win that fight. And what happened? It went the distance and he outboxed him. Why? Because people don't realize, yo, the puncher doesn't win every fight. The puncher doesn't win every fight. But most boxing fans think the guy that hits harder is gonna win. Look what you told me. Oh yeah, but he got more power. Pitbull has a lot more power than Rayo. And what did that do for him in that fight? And you're right, Ryan. You know, working with Robert Garcia, you can see that Rayo is being a lot more responsive defensively. And he uses footwork a lot more than we're used to seeing it. Effectively, very effectively. So you're seeing that, that development. That's what I be trying to tell you, my boy. The boxers beat punchers all the time. I'm not saying that a puncher is not gonna beat a boxer, because yes, one punch can change the outcome of a fight. We've seen that a million times. But yo, when you put a great boxer and a great puncher together, boxers beat them all the time. You could go back in history. Remember Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler? The boxer beat the puncher. Remember Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson? The boxer beat the puncher. Remember Tyson Fury versus Wilder? The boxer beat the puncher. So we see it all the time, my people. This is nothing new. And just like that, before Fury versus Wilder 1, and even before Fury versus Wilder 2 and 3, people were saying Wilder was going to knock him out. Wilder's going to knock him out. Wilder's going to. Why? Because, again, most fans want to go for the puncher. Most fans believe that the punches are going to knock the boxer out because the boxer doesn't have the same power. But boxing, you know how many fighters who are C-level fighters have mad power and they brolic, but they can't fight. They can't fight. They don't win fights. They get beat all the time. So power is not it. It's not the it factor. It's important and it's great to have power, but you have to stop believing that every time two guys face each other, the one with the power is the one that's gonna win. Look at Dimitri Bivol. Yo, Dimitri Bivol is not a power puncher. He don't have a high knockout percentage. And look at the way he put the beats on Canelo Alvarez. Put the Swiss beats, the Dre beats. Matter of fact, the Apple beats. All on Canelo. And did he need power to do that? No. He didn't need power. He needed boxing skills. He needed a great jab. He needed his footwork. So you're bringing up Benavidez and Boo Boo. You're talking about a smaller guy moving up in a division. A smaller guy moving up in a division that doesn't have any physical advantages. So here's the difference. Let me give you an example. Terence Crawford, if he moved to 168, he's taller than Canelo and he has more reach than Canelo, which means he has physical advantages. The only thing that Canelo's going to have is power. And I just explained to you, power doesn't win every fight. Skills pay the bills. Floyd Mayweather told you this. It's all about the skills. My peoples, hit that like button if you haven't done it. Yo, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to tell you, I am your connections. I'm your plug. Go ahead and subscribe. You already know what it is. Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Conchale, George. Oh, yo, George Pulido, listen, my brother. If you want to hate on a fighter, you don't have to say all of these different things. Just say, I don't like this guy. You can skip all of that stuff and just say, listen, I don't like Shakur. And I just don't like Crawford. That's the real deal. Just say that you don't like them dudes, instead of all that other stuff. You don't need to do the subliminal hate on the fighters. But again, my peoples, I want to remind y'all, Mondays through Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Box Center, the show with JSmiff. So that's it. Before, there was people telling me, yo, I didn't catch the live because I didn't know you was going to be on. And what had happened was, well, now you know, JSmiff is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Yo, don't miss it. Like I told y'all before, man, all new segments. We talking boxing, the topics that people want to talk about. I'm giving y'all the prediction that y'all need to hear. And I'm just straight up schooling y'all, B. I'm straight up schooling y'all because a lot of y'all don't know shit about boxing. So you need to be schooled. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'll be happy to educate you, my brothers and sisters. Y'all already know what it is, my people. It's all love. Box Center. Your favorite boxers. Favorite boxing show. Peace.